NBA 2K24 has been out for 7 months now, and it's safe to say 2K just doesn't hit the same anymore. And the reason for this is because 2K is disconnected, but let me explain how. So let's go back to NBA 2K15, and I want you to really pay attention to the atmosphere and the environment of the game. When you look in the background, you see how they have the cars moving in the back, the train that's over the street, and you're gonna see when the screen turns as well, you're gonna see how they have the water in the background, the bridge. It kind of gives off a New York vibe, like you're coming off the train, getting out your Uber to go run some pickup. But you can see that it gives off the same vibe as in real life if you're from New York or you've ever been to New York. When you go over here and look at Sunset Beach, you still have the cars moving in the background. It gives off a lot of a Miami or LA vibe, like you're on the beach. You can see how the sun is like beaming on everybody, so it gives off the vibe that it's hot. So again, if you're from LA or Miami, or you've been to those places and played basketball over there, you can relate to it. And for the last part, you have Rivet City, and you can see how it has like just straight cement floors. It's not as polished as like Old Town and Sunset, but you still have cars in the background and stores in the background. So it kind of gives off the vibe of like a city or a town where like there's not too much people that's populating it, and it's kind of like a grit or grind sort of feel. But to people that aren't from New York or LA or wherever, or like a more populated area, they could relate to Rivet City. But given what everything that I just explained, it's fair for me to say that all of these parks are realistic, because no matter who you are, you can relate to them. It doesn't matter if you're a basketball player or not. If you played professional, collegiate, if you only played street ball, whatever the case may be, you can relate to it. Even if you haven't played basketball, you probably been to a local park to go watch one of your friends play, or just to go hang out. So no matter what type of person you are, we all like basketball, so we can relate to this realistic aspect of it. Now let's look at NBA 2K23 and 24, and you're gonna see this is 2K23, and what does the environment in the background look like? A whole bunch of volcanoes and rocks and whatnot. This is the nighttime version. You're gonna see the same thing, and don't get me wrong, aesthetically it looks good, don't get me wrong, but I've never once woke up and thought, yo, I want to go play basketball by a volcano. I never thought of that. That's never crossed my mind at all. And now over here we have NBA 2K24, and I can't tell you what this reminds me of like at all. Like I don't know what this relates to. I've never thought of playing basketball anywhere that looks like this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna show y'all right now what this reminds me of. I got y'all right now. Hold up. This is exactly what this reminds me of, y'all. This right here, Dusty Divot from Fortnite. I don't know if y'all play Fortnite, but this is exactly, this middle part is exactly what the Elite Park in 24 reminds me of. But my whole point is, nobody wants to see this for like the majority of the game. Now don't get me wrong, for an event or whatnot, doing all of this spectacular stuff, trying to make it look futuristic or like it's a fiction novel, okay, it makes sense. But in terms of playing street ball basketball, this is not street ball basketball. This is like some futuristic stuff. But regardless if you're a comp player, a casual player, wherever you box yourself in, we all can agree when it comes to like the 24 environment, it is unrealistic. It's not like an actual street ball experience that you would get in real life. But this isn't the final piece as to why I think NBA 2K is disconnected. So let me explain. So let's take it back to NBA 2K15, and what I want you to pay attention to is the gameplay. Now we're going to talk about the gameplay, and I kid you guys not, I was looking for a video to pull up. You guys are going to see, bro, this is the first shot that happens. He shoots a very early and it goes in. We all can pretty much say that the gameplay was very unrealistic. Look, what is that? What is that, bro? And I also want to show this shot right here that is 100% contested, but you can see it's still going in, which goes to show like when it comes to the gameplay in NBA 2K15, it was pretty unrealistic. And what I feel like over the years, in my opinion, as a community, I thought one of the things that we were striving for was to make the gameplay like more realistic, or at least to like take out all of the cheese that didn't need to be in the game. And we definitely saw that throughout the years. In 2K17, we had pure shot creators and speed boosting sharps that could hit contested shots. We also had Hall of Fame brick wall screens and Hall of Fame ankle breakers that there was really no counter to it. After that, we had 2K18 with the snatchbacks and the blow-bys. And 18 and 19, we had the introduction of the stretch bigs that could shoot over everybody. And then in 19 and 20, we had the dribble glitch where guards could literally dribble in front of your face and you couldn't steal the ball. And then in 2K20, we had the overpowered hop steps, post scores.
You can see that if you try to abuse the post turbo spins, it won't be very effective. So.
Oh, really? Really,
the next
Mike?
question is from Charles Tribet.
Just a lot of cheese, but you could see over time, a lot of that stuff ended up being taken out. So now in comparison to NBA 2K15 all the way to where we're at now in 24, I feel like the gameplay is a lot more realistic for the most part when it comes to like overpowered things that you literally cannot stop. Like you could play defense and predict what they're gonna do and they're still able to score off of it and things like that. A lot less of that happens in this game in the park setting in comparison to the other games. Now, I've said all that to create the bigger picture. The reason why NBA 2K doesn't hit the same anymore is because 2K doesn't have a real direction. When you think about it, in NBA 2K15, the environment was realistic, but the gameplay was unrealistic. Now we're in 24, where the environment's unrealistic, but the gameplay's realistic. The game doesn't make any sense. So for me, firstly, I feel like if 2K is gonna make a game, they have to make it where it's just realistic, where it's like realistic environment, realistic gameplay, or unrealistic environment, unrealistic gameplay. But I'm definitely preferring that first option. And the reason why I say that is because the realistic environment is the essence of what made NBA 2K. It's what made the park. And I'm not just saying that. I believe this is a thing the whole community can agree on. So you'll see right here, when you search up NBA 2K24 City, if you look at the search volume, the search volume is all the way here at the orange, and I'll refresh it again just so you'll see that I'm not capping and this is really what it is. But when you search up NBA 2K24 Park, the search volume is all the way up here at the green, as you could see. And the reason why I'm showing this is because the city has been in the game for the past 4 2Ks, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And the search volume of NBA 2K24 Park is more than that. Now, I understand the park and the city aren't the same exact thing, but I want to show that the park is like a staple of the 2K community. That's what people reside with. That's the essence of what NBA 2K is, what makes people want to go and play online. And over the years, 2K has deviated away from that. It went from my park to the neighborhood to the goat boat to now we're in the city. And I'm not necessarily mad that they're trying to do something different or to innovate, but when you take away from the essence of what makes a game, it's gonna result in a lot of people going away from that and going to different routes rather than playing your game. And a great example of that is Call of Duty. Back in 2014 to 2016, this is when Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, and Black Ops 3 had dropped. And in those games, it implemented the exosuits, basically where you could boost jump, double jump, wall run. And the thing with that is a lot of people didn't like that and they got backlash for it and wanted everyone to remove it. Because the reason why we play Call of Duty is to have our boots to the ground and to have that sort of gameplay. So when they moved away from that, a lot of people didn't want to play the game and didn't buy it as much because that's not what made Call of Duty Call of Duty. Now, to bring it back to 2K, the park isn't giving a realistic vibe. And if you notice in 21, once they added the city, coincidentally, that's when a lot more people and also content creators started moving away from the park and the stage and started playing more Pro-Am and Rec over time, because people are looking for the realistic vibe of basketball subconsciously, even if you're not thinking of that. Nobody really wants to play the park and the stage anymore because it's somewhat boring, because there's not really much innovation being made, and the innovations that are being made are like away from a realistic route. I can't relate to half of the stuff that I see in the park. That even goes into another conversation as to why the rep rewards, we hate them, because you got things like a mech suit, but we're already in an environment that feels unrealistic. So that mech suit isn't gonna stand out, and it just feels only like a microtransaction pull. That's a reason why people got the mascot, the jetpack, and the tiger, things like that. In the older games, people liked it more because it was in a realistic environment, so it stood out, and you had to really grind the game in order to get that sort of unrealistic thing. Now in this game, if you put a mech suit or a tiger, it's not gonna make that big of a deal because we already feel like the game is too unrealistic in terms of the vibe and the environment. It doesn't feel like basketball anymore. It's kind of like if you went on Call of Duty and they drop a ray gun for like the actual game, like it's not a special event, like you could just get the ray gun and use it as a regular gun. People would tell people to take that out. That doesn't make any sense. So for me, in my honest opinion, I don't know if 2K needs to like rebrand the city to like NBA Street or like NBA Outside or something. They gotta brand it in a way to make people want to play it and that it gives off the realistic vibe. I remember back in 15, just the fact that you could dribble around with your basketball, it gave like an NBA Ballers, an NBA Phenom sort of vibe where you could walk around, pull up, and play pickup. Now we're on hoverboards trying to get everywhere. The courts are so far from each other. I have to go to 2-3 different stores just to buy each different pair of clothing. It's just like, it's so much tedious stuff that we have to do, and the game doesn't even feel that real anyways. It's like we might as well just not play it, and that's a big reason why a lot of people are burnt out and don't even waste their time with this game. And that's not a diss to 2K or anything. I'm just saying that's how a lot of people in the community feel. But if you'd like to see more commentary videos like these, let me know in the comment section down below. But if not, be sure to check out my last video on how to stop a 5-out, and I'll holla at y'all in the next one.